Good morning, everybody, on this Friday, November the 10th. And again, you're going to have to forgive me for my voice. It's going to go in and out because I've been having trouble with it for the last 24 hours. Somehow, I don't know if I'm catching a cold again or what the deal is, but getting a little bit of a scratchy throat. Not sore or anything, but I've had colds like this before where it just kind of comes on with a loss of voice and it turns into the sniffles or whatever. But fortunately for me, my immune system's pretty good, and generally the colds don't get too severe on me. But lots to talk about today as we came to the end of yet another game period. And on screen, I think you can see that I highlighted a couple of games. A hot team, the Carolina Copperheads. They had a big showdown this last period with the Houston Rockets. That's William Slavely's team versus Mark Jones's team. Mark Jones running the Copperheads. That's the only team Mark runs. And of course, William runs the Houston Rockets. That's his main team. He also runs the Oklahoma City Thunder, if I'm not mistaken, a team that he doesn't pay as much attention to. This is his baby, so to speak, the Houston Rockets. But, with a score like 146, kind of a tough pill to swallow losing this one, but this team has shown itself to be very talented. And they have a red hot player in Scotty Barnes right now, who's in the top five in scoring in the entire NBA based on our scoring system. So, at any rate, we'll get into a few things today. We'll get into some of the scores. We'll talk about the hot free agents. We'll talk about hot performances from last night. It was a quiet night in the NBA, and there weren't a lot of team games being played. But at any rate, let's get right into it. First of all, this Copperheads game. We'll take a closer look at the box score. And Carolina, as you can see, benefited from LaMelo Ball's 19 points, Jalen Green's 20 points, and Jalen Suggs' 14 points. That was the backcourt. The front court produced 11 points from OG Anunoby. Keegan Murray, not much of a game there. Asar Thompson, the rookie, had a great period with 20 points. But it was the center play. Joker with the huge game, 40 points, and Jalen Duren with 20. And by the way, Nikola Jokic is the highest scoring player in the league right now. His 48-minute stats are off the hook. He has 51 fantasy points per 48 minutes, and that is heads and tails above the next guy in line, which would be Luka Doncic, one of my favorite players. Doncic at 39, just to give you a little perspective. So a huge game by Joker, and he gets the Copperheads over. And I'm telling you right now, if the Copperheads can surround this guy with production, this is going to be a legitimate contender, the Carolina Copperheads. And as you can see in the standings, they moved up to second place with 8 wins and 1 loss. And Houston now at 7 wins and 2 losses sits at fourth place behind the Lakers. This is the top 6 right now. And I like to show just the top 6 in general just because these are the teams that will get a bye in the first round of the playoffs. The Warriors, of course, still undefeated. We'll have to see when they finally lose a game. And the Pistons there at 6-3 to round out the top 6. My Saints are sitting just outside. We made a comeback. We're 5-4 now, but enough about me. Looking at the Houston Rockets box score, the guards produced 5 points from Cole Anthony. Not a great game. Eric Gordon with a horrible performance. Negative 10 points. John Moran, of course, still sitting out with a suspension. Chris Paul with 14 points. And D'Angelo Russell with 10. The front court for the Rockets produced 36 points from Scotty Barnes. This guy is having himself a season. He has moved up to 5th place in scoring. Gordon Hayward with 18. And Jason Tatum with 23. Of course, he's always going to give them a strong performance. The front court produced 29 points from Rudy Gobert and Isaiah Stewart coming in with 11. But it wasn't quite enough to get the Rockets over in this one. Copperheads were a red hot team. Having a look at Houston this week and what they did. They lost that game, of course, but they did defeat, I believe it was the Clippers. No, the Guardians. So they beat the Guardians, a very good team. That's run by Jeff Just, 146-134. So let's have a look at last night's hot performers on the 48-minute basis. Giannis Antetokounmpo came through with the big game. Antetokounmpo. I have to say that slow, but I have to say it fast a lot of times because if I don't, I'll mess it up. Antetokounmpo with 37 fantasy points, 49 fantasy points on the 48-minute basis. Strong game. He was the top scorer from last night. He scored 54 points on 25 field goal attempts. He also added 12 rebounds and 3 assists. But he had 8 turnovers. Crazy enough, but he does handle the ball quite a bit. 8 turnovers, but he made up for it with 54 points on 25 field goal attempts. And if you're going to offset turnovers, that's the way to do it. Other big performances last night. Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks in the NBA, the Clippers in this league. He had 41 fantasy points per 48 minutes. Actual points last night, 29.2 fantasy points in 34 minutes of play. Strong game with 8 assists, 3 steals, and 3 turnovers. That was Trae Young, the guard from Atlanta, and the Clippers in this league. Jonathan Isaac played in just 16 minutes and had 42 fantasy points on a 48-minute basis. He didn't turn the ball over. That'll get it done. 2 blocks, no steals, but 7 rebounds. And he had 12 points on 8 attempts. Those were your 48-minute stat leaders. The low-minute stat leaders, I like to keep track of these guys that don't play a lot of minutes, but they score a lot of points per minute. These guys would include Clint Capella of the Saints last night. Clint Capella with 39 fantasy points per 48 minutes. Also, Onyeka Okongwu, another Atlanta center. He only played in 21 minutes and he scored 34 fantasy points. And yet another strong performer in low minutes was Joe Ingles, 18 minutes and 37 points. Strong performance there. Hot free agents from last night. Joe Ingles once again. So Ingles, who had the big game, is a free agent right now. He is not with any team in this league. So you might want to look into him. If you get this before transaction time today, which is noon Pacific, somebody might put in a bid on Joe Ingles if they haven't already. And Marjan, the name isn't complete here, but I'm going to go with Bachamp. I'm not sure, but he had 29 fantasy points per 48 minutes. He played in 13 minutes last night, but was very productive in those minutes. There was only one rookie of note, Anthony Black, last night. Came through in 18 minutes with 11 fantasy points. He did it on 4 field goal attempts, scoring 9 points. Solid offensive production there for Black. 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block, and just 1 turnover. So a solid performance from the young rookie from, I believe, Arkansas. That's right, Anthony Black, a player that I really like. He was the 6th overall pick in the NBA this year by the Orlando Magic. And I think this kid has a bright future. Let's have a look at the top teams in the league and their results from this game period. The Warriors with 2 big wins. They defeated the Los Angeles Clippers. They defeated the Clippers 166-113. They defeated the Oklahoma City Thunder 166-118. So Phil Johnson's team is out to another great start. Of course, he was in the finals last year and lost to the Lakers in an upset, 4-2. Copperheads with a couple of wins. They defeated the Rockets. We talked about that, 154-140, but they also defeated the Pistons 154-134. So another top 6 team That's two big wins by the Copperheads, two top six teams. Fort Wayne, of course, lost that game to Carolina, but they defeated Sacramento 134 to 83. Fort Wayne is a top six team. That's Ben Johnson's team. There's Williams' team again. He lost to the Copperheads, but defeated the Guardians. Guardians run by Jeff Just. So a tough loss by the Guardians, who scored 139 points. They barely lost this game. And the Lakers, it's better to be lucky than good. They scored just 86 points in the period. They lose to the Bulls 117 to 86, but they actually got a victory in the period. They defeated the San Antonio Spurs 86 to 74. So again, it's better to be lucky than good. Showtime with the win. That's also one of Phil Johnson's teams. They are now 7-2 on the season. They have dropped to third overall. By the way, the Eagles were a surprise top six team this week. Let's have a look at Randy's team. That's my brother. The team that is led by Damian Lillard and Steph Curry, the Eagles, with a win over the Nuggets 118 to 114. And they beat the Boston Celtics by 0.2 of a point, 118.5 to 118.3. Wow. Tough loss by the Celtics there. And looking down the standings a little bit, the Celtics are a team that beat the Saints last game period. And kind of a surprise win there. And that was still their only victory. So they barely lose to the Poway Eagles. So that'll do it for today's show, everybody. Hopefully I didn't stumble through that one too much. Hopefully my voice comes back soon. I'm on the verge of pulling out a little cash and getting a better microphone situation. It's not going to cost me as much as I might have thought. If I have a friend at work who told me about a microphone that he was familiar with that he really liked. So I checked it out, not too bad. It's called the El Gato. I think it's the Wave 3. I'm thinking about it. It's my day off. I might make a little trek down to Best Buy and pick myself up a new toy and maybe set myself up with a little bit better studio situation. Right now, I'm just kind of like winging it with my laptop from 2019. It's a good laptop, though. It's a decent computer. But not a lot of desk space here. I have an okay microphone. I think I paid like $45 for the one I have, and it served me well. Anyways, enjoy your weekend, everybody. It's a Veterans Day weekend, so a lot of people have a three-day off type of thing going on. Enjoy your time, whatever you're doing. Playing golf if the weather suits. Hitting the beach if you live in Southern California like I do, or not. I don't like going to the beach when there's big crowds, but at any rate, enjoy the games, guys. We'll talk to you later.